Hello and welcome to another vidIQ live stream. I'm Dan, and every Wednesday we bring you sort of a fluctuating style of live stream. We'll take your questions regardless, but sometimes we'll show you some vidIQ tools. We'll show you different ways you can grow your channel. Today, the conversation is all about collaborating with brands, collaborating with creators, and we're going to be taking your questions as such. But before we do, let's go ahead and bring in Rob.
Hello. Look at this, Dan. Perfect timing, eh? If only people knew that literally as the intro was playing, I was desperately trying to fix my camera. I did, and here we are. And I also want to mention I have been heavily influenced by your backdrop. I am now playing The Last of Us Part 2 on Sony PlayStation 4, all because of your backdrop. So thank you very much for that. And I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes trying to put these on.
Well, thank you for being here. We're joined today by a special guest, though, tech YouTuber and Clubhouse extraordinaire, Vyyyper. How are you?
Woo, what's up, people? What's going on? How y'all doing?
We are fantastic. How are you?
I am good. Happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Would you like to tell everybody a little bit about who you are in more detail and what it is you do all over the internet?
Absolutely. So let me get into it formally. So what's up, people? This your boy Vyyyper, the man about tech. I am a tech content creator on YouTube. I've been making tech videos for about 3.5 years now. I'm also present on the other social medias. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on TikTok, all of the things. But mainly I make tech content. On my main YouTube channel, I make videos mostly about Apple and their products and services and things like that. I also have a podcast called Vyyyper, which I interview various people in the tech space. So yeah, I do all of the things.
Vyyyper, I just have one question for you. Have you logged off of Clubhouse since you installed it?
Yes.
And are you actually on Clubhouse right now, kind of having two conversations at the same time? Because I do not believe I've ever opened the app when I haven't seen you in a room somewhere.
Well, you know, Rob, believe it or not, I do. I do log off of Clubhouse, so I am not on Clubhouse right now. I do host a room on Clubhouse every morning.
Let me check this. Yeah. I'm checking this right now. I don't believe you. I'm going to go.
I am not there. I am not there. I'm not there.
That's funny.
Well, there he is. He's in a room. He's lying.
Nope, not there.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Clubhouse is a newer social media app where there's basically a stage full of prominent figures a lot of times, and then listeners can actually raise their hand and jump on stage and discuss the topic of the day. Vyyyper, what are some of the things you generally talk about in Clubhouse?
Ooh. Oh man. A lot of times it's about YouTube related items. I host a room, as I mentioned earlier, every morning called Coffee Talk, where we talk about any and everything that's on people's minds. I have hosted like my Tech Tuber Lounge I host on Clubhouse from time to time, where I talk about tech and YouTube with other tech creators. So yeah, I talk about a variety of topics on Clubhouse. Just depends on the day, more or less.
You also have a Clubhouse room you host on vidIQ's own club. When does that take place? That's Thursdays?
Yeah, so that's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I host a room for vidIQ, helping creators grow their YouTube channel. So absolutely.
So there you go. If you are somebody who has Clubhouse, it's now on Android, by the way. It's not exclusive to iOS anymore.
Yeah.
You can join us in there. I think the rooms we do are, is it, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, is Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday now?
I believe so, yeah. And when I was listening last Thursday, Vyyyper, you had somebody on from somebody quite high up from Verizon, I seem to remember, chatting away about brand deals last week, which is just a reflection of the contacts you have to be able to bring these people to the masses to converse with, which is and it was really fascinating.
Yeah,
I still can't get my gloves on. I'm still on the first one. Just
yeah, what Rob is alluding to is last Thursday night for vidIQ, I hosted a brand night on Clubhouse where I had representatives from different brands in the Clubhouse to talk to creators about best practices for reaching out to and working with brands. One of the brands I had there was Verizon Wireless, or Verizon, as you all know them. I had a Nomad Goods, DD Microphone. I had a representative from US, a newer up-and-coming cellular carrier called US Mobile. So yeah, it was a good talk, and it was an amazing conversation. It was absolutely amazing.
That conversation is one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on a specific discussion about, brands, and likely we'll also talk about collaborating with creators too, because I think depending on what level you're at in your YouTube journey, this would be different for everybody. So you had this discussion on Clubhouse, and I'm just really let's get into it. Let's talk about well, no, I was going to say hello to everybody first, and then I want to get into it. Sorry, the format is in my head, and it keeps getting confused. So let's start with Rob. How about you say hello to some folks? We're going to tease them a little bit longer with this.
Yeah, let's say hello to Bori Piano. Now his 197th consecutive live stream. Thank you for joining us. I want to say hello to Dan H, who's moderating today. Thank you, Dan, as you were on fire yesterday with channel audits. I Like Pizza, who apparently I think somebody sent us a tweet yesterday showing I Like Pizza actually subscribing to the channel. We have that little subscribe animation that comes up. Somebody recorded that for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, hello, I Like Pizza. Cody Hindsight is also here. Life with Moran. Short reviews. 8-Bit Gamer. Gamer Ace. The Artist Heaven moderating as usual. Music no copyright. And we could not do this live stream without some channel name that I can pronounce. Our Fans Tube.
Vyyyper, would you like to say hello to anyone in the chat?
Let's see. We got Tish from the Artist Haven, as Rob just alluded to. What's up, Tish? How you doing? We got Seesaw out there. I saw Emily D. Baker's in the building. What's up, Emily? How you doing? We got the Oats on Bass. What's happening? How y'all doing? Excellent, dude. Yeah, what's up? Appreciate all y'all hanging out. So thank you for joining.
Hello to Gamer Ace, Charlie's Gaming, Jim Jams. We have a Fans Tube, I think. Kizito, Seesaw, and Tech at its Peak. So I saw a few tech-related names here today. So there we go. You're in good hands. Yeah. So Vyyyper, the first thing I wanted to ask about was when should somebody collaborate or seek a brand deal? Yeah, let's start with brands. When should somebody collaborate with another brand, try and get something going, and how does that all work?
Okay, so this is like one of the top questions that brand new creators have, especially if they have aspirations for making a career out of YouTube or going full-time on YouTube. One of the first questions new creators ask, when should I reach out to brands? Like, how long should I wait before I start going for brand deals? Here's the thing. When you are communicating with brands and when you think you are in a position to work with brands, you have to realize that it's not just about you going out, getting a brand deal and making the money or getting the product and things like that. You have to be able to provide that brand value. So what I say to creators is, listen, wait till you have a few videos under your belt. Wait till you have like your style, your flow. Wait till you are comfortable in front of a camera doing your thing before you reach out to brands, because you just can't have 1 or 2 videos up and think you're gonna be valuable to a brand. Listen, the best NBA players in the world don't get into the game like right off the bat. They have to practice. That's why they have practices for everything. You got to practice. You got to put in the work when nobody's watching you. So when it comes time for you to go out there and represent in front of the light, you can do that. So I tell creators to think about it the same way when they are thinking about working with brands. I would say wait until you have a few videos under your belt. So when you do reach out to that brand and they do choose to work with you, you can bring value to them as well as them bringing value to you, because it's not just a one-way relationship. It's a two-way go. You want something from the brand, but you also have to be in a position where you can give back to the brands as well. So don't just think about it from what I can give. What can you as a creator, what value can you bring to brands? And once you have enough videos under your belt for you to understand what that is and what it is that you can do for a brand in front of a camera, then maybe start thinking about going after brand deals.
Would you say it's a good strategy? Because I've heard this strategy recommended by fellow creators. Would you say this is a good strategy? If you get a product, right, and you want to start working with brands in the future, is it a good idea to basically make a promo for that product and do it for free without them asking, in the hopes that you can then take that video, take that content, and get it in front of them somehow to try and earn some favor?
Yes, because it's the other question that creators ask when they're first starting out. How do I get brands to discover me? Because like I said, like I said earlier, when you're first starting out, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows you from a can of paint. So how do you get yourself out there to where brands begin to discover you and notice you? What you just said, Dan. If you have a product, like say if you have I got an iPhone in front of me here. If you want Apple to notice you and you're just starting your creative journey, make a video talking about the iPhone, tag Apple in it, tag their social media handles on Twitter, Instagram, whatever the case may be. That way, you're kind of building up that relationship. You're building that rapport with the brand. You might not get a response back, or maybe you get a response back, because sometimes brands have been known to retweet people, even new creators. They might retweet you if you tweet at them. But at them, hashtag them or whatever, or use their hashtag or at them on social media just to get that rapport going. So when you do get to a point where you have a following and you are in line to maybe have or make a legitimate brand deal happen, when you reach out to communicate with that brand, then they know who you are because you've already established that rapport when you first started your creative journey. So definitely, I believe in hashtagging and using the brand hashtag, tagging them on your social medias and things like that when you make content that is related to their product or service.
So the other thing that we have to talk about, because you mentioned Apple, this would range, I imagine, from depending on the size of the company you would like to work with. But when should you be doing this? You know, you said you had alluded to, you should get a few videos on your channel, things like that. Is there a set number of subscribers? Is there a set number of views before you would tell somebody to actually like go for it? Now you should be trying to get the attention of these brands.
Well, you can get the attention of the brand from day one. I mean, you can add them on social media. You can use their hashtags. That stuff you can do day one if you want to do that. What I was alluding to earlier was like, if you're reaching out to like do a brand deal, or if you're reaching out to get some type of product, or if you're reaching out for a sponsorship, then you might want to wait a little bit until you got a little bit more experience under your belt before you start doing that stuff. But you can absolutely build rapport with the brand from day one. If you want to work with brands, or if you have that objective of being a creator that wants to be brand friendly and work with brands somewhere down your creative journey, then you can start from day one, adding them and reaching out on social media and tagging them and things like that. But again, if we're talking about maybe getting product or getting paid, that's going to take a little longer because you have to get more experience under your belt before you can provide that brand enough value to where they will consider working with you in that capacity. But there's nothing wrong with reaching out day one as far as tagging them in social media when you are talking about their product or service, using their hashtags. That stuff you can do day one.
Tech, I feel like is a channel or type of channel that would, it's perfect. It's perfect to work with brands because there's always a new product to review. There's probably a lot of other types of channels here though. What would you tell them who are like, well, this is great if you cover iPhones on your channel, but you know, I'm a blank channel, or I'm a gaming channel, I'm a fishing channel, I'm a travel channel. Like, what would you tell somebody like that?
This is the beautiful thing about what we're talking about today. It's not niche dependent. These things that we're going to talk about today can be applied across any niche, beauty, fashion, whatever niche it is that you're in. There is nothing wrong with using that brand's hashtag, or again, adding them on Twitter or Instagram or whatever the case may be. These are general principles. These are not niche specific principles. These are general. Anybody in any niche can apply these principles if they want to work with the brands in their niche. Also, I would caution creators to think outside the box, because it's not about just brands that are in your niche. You can actually work with brands outside of your niche as well. And I'll give you guys a perfect example. So I'm a tech creator. I make tech content. Obviously, when I think about working with brands, I think about the Apples and the Samsungs and things like that in the world that I would like to work with. However, if a Nike or an Under Armour came to Vyyyper, they were like, yo, Vyyyper, we want to do some marketing on your channel. Can we work with you? Will you be willing to work with us? I'm going to take 2 seconds and be like, hell yes, Nike, Under Armour, I will work with you. Why? Because when I look at my audience demographic and I see that most of the people that watch my content are male between the ages of 25 and 34, who is buying Nike and Under Armour? A lot of times it's males between the ages of 25 and 34. And ladies, I'm not being like my second. I know ladies buy Nike and Under Armour, so I'm just using my analytics as an example. But again, most of my demographic are male between the ages of 25 and 34, and a Nike or Under Armour is looking for that demographic as well. So even though Nike and Under Armour are not tech companies, I can definitely work with them on brand deals if those opportunities were to come to me, because again, they fit with what my audience is looking for. So think outside the box too.
A follow-up question to that, Vyyyper. So let's say a clothing company contacts you, and you are known as a tech channel. What would be the best way to integrate that brand into a video? Because I know a lot of channels, they kind of do a hard stop on their content to go into this section is sponsored by brand X, and I'm going to tell you about brand X for 30 seconds and then move back to their content. It feels as if you're going to do it for maybe a brand that isn't necessarily directed to your channel, but the demographics match, would there be some sort of more subtle way of doing it? I think there are examples. I know Sean Juris is very, when I've listened to him talk about brand deals before, he does it in a way whereby you almost don't even realize there's a brand deal's being placed in the video, because the advertisement is so subtle. It's like they're on a journey in a plane, and maybe an app on a tablet was a solution to keeping their child quiet for a couple of hours. But it was so much more going on in the story. I know that's a really long question, but yeah, it's interesting how you might integrate brands that don't necessarily directly connect with the channel focus.
Rob, I think it all depends on what that particular brand wants.
Yeah.
Some brands want a 30 to 90-second ad integration.
Right.
Some brands want an entire dedicated video. What I would not do in that particular situation, I would not do a dedicated video on my channel for a non-tech brand, because nobody will watch it, because I'm a tech channel. So why would they watch that? So it's also up to the creator to understand how to best serve their audience. If Nike or Under Armour came to me and they wanted to work with me, I would not do a dedicated Nike or Under Armour video on my tech channel, because nobody's watching that. They don't come to me for that. What I can do is maybe wear some of their apparel in my videos, or like you said earlier, do like a 90 or 60 to 90-second spot in the video telling them about Nike and Under Armour and how I love their clothing, how I'm comfortable, and how they make me feel, this, that, and the other, and then go back to my regular tech content. So there's different ways to integrate the brands into your video. But number one, it depends on what the brand wants. And number two, you just have to figure out how that best serves your audience.
My second second question, which I always ask the tech channels before we move on, is how many unsolicited emails have you received from Chinese companies offering you Bluetooth headphones and speakers?
Man.
Yeah. I'm just checking that's still the case in the tech industry.
Oh yeah, it's still the case.
You can have the same thing in gaming too.
What's offered in gaming, Dan? What is it, like cheap mice or?
No, it's always it's the other. I don't know if it relates directly, because they're not generally coming with money. It's usually free games. They want you to play the game on their channel or on your channel. So yeah, I'd get hundreds of emails. After a while, I got hundreds every day. Like I'm never going to open these emails, and there's a bunch of free games in them.
But it's interesting. While we do joke about this, that is usually an indicator that you are on brands' radars. Even if you are getting spam emails, that may be a signal to you as a creator to say, oh, okay, I don't necessarily want to work with this brand because it doesn't align with my content, or I'm not just going to make content based on a random email, but it may give me the confidence to start reaching out to brands to maybe work with the brands that I want to work with.
Yeah, it's interesting, Rob, because at some point, if you do it long enough and consistently enough, at some point in your creator journey, you are going to get brands that will reach out to you directly as a creator. Yeah. Some of them will be spammy Amazon sellers and brands that you just don't want to work with. That's definitely going to happen. But some of them will be legit brands that you will want to consider working with as well. But that will definitely happen along your creative journey. Like I said, if you do it long enough and consistent enough, because that's another thing that we don't really talk about too much, that brands absolutely look for when they choose to work with creators. They look for consistency. They're checking to see how often you upload. They're making sure you're not a fly-by-night creator that bails on their fans and things like that, because the brands want to know that you are constantly present, supporting your audience, and they look for that stuff.
How I'm trying to think of the best way to pitch this question, because I don't want to be insulting to brands, but how clued up do you think brands are now in terms of identifying the right creators? Because I'm assuming in years past, a brand may just look at the subscriber count and how many views they're getting on average on a channel, and then email a creator based on that. Has it evolved anymore from that, Vyyyper, in terms of at least first contact, or do you think it's still quite a, hey, you've got lots of views and subscribers, can you let's do a sponsorship?
I am so glad you asked it, because Rob, brands are getting so much better at doing their homework before they reach out to a creator. And when I mean brands are getting so much better, I mean brands are naturally integrating themselves into these respective communities when they are thinking about working with creators. Like, I have brands that will tune into my live streams on Friday night. I have brands that watch my videos, or they have social media people that watch my videos. So it's no longer, well, I won't say it's no longer, but brands are slowly beginning to move away from the, oh my God, he has a big sub count, let's reach out. No. They are looking into, they are actively integrating themselves into your community just to see how you interact with your audience. Because again, it's just more than sub count, because most brands are beginning to understand that the sub count is just a vanity number anyway. There's so much more that goes to a creator, and the idea of working with a creator beyond their sub count. How does the community take to that creator? Do they trust that creator? Does the creator communicate often with that community that they've cultured? Because ultimately, not only do the brands want to get in front of your community, they want to make sure that what you are telling they want to make sure that the community trusts you as a creator. Because if the community doesn't trust you as a creator, then the brand is not going to get that. They're not going to get the sales. They're not going to make the money, because the community doesn't trust you. You don't have that relationship. So brands are definitely getting more slick at integrating themselves with the creator community and just seeing who is legit and who is not legit. And it's funny, because when I had my brand room last week, I had the brands on stage. One guy from a brand came up and told me that, listen, creators don't fake your numbers, because they can look at how many views you're getting on a video related to your sub count, things like that. They know what communities are actively engaged with that creator and what communities aren't engaged with the creator, and just like that. So you can't even fake it. The brands have systems in place to make sure that creators can't even fake this stuff. Like, they are looking for a genuine, organic engagement between creator and community, and brands see that stuff. They know what's going on.
A thought that's just come into my head, correct me if I'm wrong in maybe talking about this, but I've just realized that perhaps a really valuable analytic that creators might want to share in their media kits. We might talk about media kits later on. How to approach a brand in the right way is, because I keep talking about this, and you just said, Vyyyper, subscribers are a vanity metric. But what I think is a really crucial metric right now is return viewers. And you would assume that return viewers who are coming back to your content are more invested in you as a creator and are more likely to trust you, perhaps with a purchasing decision. So just imagine if, let's say, vidIQ was just an individual creator's channel, and I was able to say, look, when I make a video about how to get more subscribers, it brings in at least 30,000 returning viewers. And you would imagine that they're more likely to invest than new viewers just because of a relationship you have. So let's say, I'm almost pitching to vidIQ itself. Hey, vidIQ, you make a tool about how to get more views and subscribers. Well, let me make a video about vidIQ, because I know I'm going to get this many viewers returning to my content when I talk about getting more views and subscribers. This, to me, even though it's like a hidden metric to externally, I think could be really valuable for creators to show not only demographics, but also loyalty of your audience for the potential purchase at the end of an advert. I just thought I'd add that. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about brands being actively engaged with the community, and them knowing which communities are actively engaged with the creator and which communities might not be so actively engaged with the creator. So that number kind of points to that, because at the end of the day, the brands want their return on investment. If they're going to invest their time and money into a creator, they want to know that they're going to get something back on that investment. And they look at all these metrics when they are trying to figure out which creators they want to work with.
So one of the things we do in this live stream is we take questions from our audience. And generally speaking, that lasts the remainder of the live stream. And we when we have a guest, we try to keep the questions related to the topic at hand. So we're talking about brands and collaborating with brands, working with brands. We haven't really discussed collaborating with other creators. I don't know if we want to tackle that real quick before we dive into Q&A. I was going to say that would be, I think we'd all entertain questions about that too, though, because I think that's also of interest when people think about working with others outside their own YouTube studio. You know, do you have any thoughts on that before we jump into Q&A?
Yes. So this is interesting because it kind of ties into working with brands. Where do I begin with this? I have been telling people left and right who will listen that you as creators should strive to cultivate and maintain positive relationships with your fellow creators. You're not going to like every single body in the creative space, and that's fine. I mean, we're human. We're not going to like everybody. That's fine. But you should not go out of your way to burn bridges just because you don't like somebody. You should try to maintain a positive relationship because there are other creators throughout the niche and throughout the space that could potentially put you in line to opportunities that you didn't even know existed. And they can do that via word of mouth because creators talk to each other, brands talk to each other. And the other thing that some creators might not be aware of is that brands talk to creators directly about other creators. Like sometimes a brand will come to a creator that they trust and be like, listen, such as so-and-so, who else in the creative space do you trust that will be a good fit for our brand? This stuff happens. So if you burnt that bridge with that creator that could potentially put you in line with that brand, guess what? That's an opportunity you never see because you burnt that bridge. But you maintain a positive relationship with your fellow creators. If a brand comes to their trust creator like, yo, what other creators do you know that could fit our brand values that will be a good fit for us? They're like, oh, check out that dude Vyyyper. He's pretty legit. Brand reaches out to Vyyyper. We have a new relationship because Vyyyper has maintained a positive relationship with his fellow creators, and they have no problem referring me to their brand because they trust me and they know what I'm about. So yeah, as it relates to creative collaborations, you know, if you are interested in collaborating with other creators, then obviously if they collaborate with you and they have that relationship with you, then that could go in your favor as terms of working with brands as well. So just having a positive relationship with your fellow creators will literally take you a long way as a creator.
Are we Rob, looked like you were going to say something. I was going to say
I just wanted to ask one more question, actually, but I wanted to ask this question to all three of us, as maybe to share our stories before we move into Q&A. So my question to all of us, and I'll answer this last, could you sort of describe your first or your best brand deal / collaboration or whatever it is, just because I just think us sharing those stories would be useful because I'm sure we all have slightly different stories in that. So Vyyyper, if you want to go first, fire away.
Well, I'll talk about vidIQ because this kind of relates to what I was talking about earlier.
He's on message, he's on brand. I like it.
So
this expert at work here.
So no, but it relates. So before vidIQ ever reached out to me, they were in my clubhouse. I should say you guys. You were in my clubhouse room. You were listening to me. You were part of those conversations. You were naturally integrating yourself with my clubhouse community. So after you guys have seen enough after you guys got a good understanding of who I am and what I'm about, you guys felt comfortable reaching out to me because you had already naturally integrated yourself into my community. And you're like, okay, we can trust this Vyyyper guy. He's consistent. People love him. Let's reach out and see if he's willing to work with us, this, that, and the other. And that's why we're here today. So it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Brands are getting so much better at integrating themselves with the creative community to identify possible creators that they want to work with, which is the other thing I didn't mention as we're part of this room today is that creators need to be aware that they are being watched at all times across all forms of social media. Don't ever think somebody's not watching what you're doing on social media, whether it be on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Brands are watching you at all times. So you got to watch what you say, watch how you present yourself, watch how you engage with your fellow community and your audience off your main platforms and things like that. You are being watched always. So just be aware.
So my my story, the one that just pops into my head, this was not a money play for me. This was more of a growth play back in the day on my original gaming channel. There was a game that came out that I just absolutely fell in love with. It's called Eco. It's really cool because you have this planet and you have to take care of it, you know, and if you don't take care of it, it can just die eventually because of the environment just gets polluted and the oceans will rise and it's a whole thing. But at the same time, there's a meteor barreling towards the planet. So you need to upgrade all of your resources and tech to destroy it, but you have to do it in such a way that doesn't destroy the environment in the process. Really crazy concept. I recommend looking it up. So I was playing this game, and over time I decided, you know, people are watching this. I should reach out to the developers, you know, just to let them know what's going on, because the game was trying to, you know, get traction, earn money to keep building, because it was very, very early access. So what I ended up doing was hosting these different live streams and things about this game that just took off. You know, they were just this whole thing, and the developers would get involved. They were watching the live streams all the time. It was one of the best times, I think, when streaming a game other than the one that I would normally cover in my niche. So anyway, they saw growth. People were buying the game because of what I was doing, and I was enjoying myself. More people from that community were coming in to watch the live streams without me going in and saying, hey, I do live streams, I do videos on this game, come watch me. You know, it was just a matter of everything just kind of falling into place. So again, not a money play, no money changed hands, but we definitely sold a bunch of that game. So it was good times.
So this story from me is probably the best, luckiest, and only brand deal I've ever done, and it is on topic. It's on message. It's with vidIQ, and this goes back to 5 years ago now, when I was a tech channel. I like a Vyyyper, but I'd been making videos for about 3-4 years at that point, and I wanted to start to give something back to the creator community, in a sense that, look, I'm making tech videos and I'm earning a bit of income on it as a side hustle here. So I want to educate you a little bit on how to grow a YouTube channel yourself. And so I made a video based on a tool that I was using at the time. Now, of course, there are two predominant YouTube growth tools, and there still are. And it just so happened that vidIQ's tool at the time was fractionally better than the competition, and it still is. And so I made this video, as you can see, on April the 13th, 2016, and it was how to find and copy tags through vidIQ's tool. And it was it's almost like a precursor to YouTube Shorts, because this was like a 60-second video. And so I made this video, and look, to this day, it's only got 4,500 views. But and this is where I think it goes back to what Vyyyper was talking about a little bit earlier on, in that first of all, if you're going to do something, maybe try and provide value for free, not only to your audience, but also to the brand that you want to contact. So I sent this tweet, I might have been able to find it, from 5 years ago. And it was just, hey, vidIQ, I made a video about this tool, check it out. And I even sent the tweet wrong because it just went to vidIQ, no one else. I forgot to put the period instead of vidIQ. By the end of that day, the CEO had contacted me, and we'd worked out an agreement for me to do some freelance work for vidIQ. And at that time, because I had never done any brand deals or sponsorships, I remember the conversation when Rob Sandy, the CEO, asked me, what would be your hourly rate? And I had no clue how to value myself at that point. And I said, $25 an hour. And he sort of said, no, that doesn't seem fair. We'll start at $45 an hour. So the CEO, from our very first sort of relationship and agreement, had placed me at a higher value than I thought I was. And I guess from that point on, the rest is history. I ended up, actually, for some reason, I'm wearing a shirt today. Let me just put it on. I can stop sharing now. I'm wearing this old school t-shirt. This was like the channel I used to make content for, the Video Gadgets Journal. And I did that for another year whilst freelancing for vidIQ. But eventually, Rob asked me to come on board full-time at vidIQ. And so from that, I guess, brand deal, I have now become the brand of vidIQ, which means I've never had to do another brand video in my life after that. But at the same time, I'm making brand videos all of the time. And that was, as I say, it felt like there was a lot of luck for that tweet to just hit on Rob Sandy's, phone for me to then have this relationship. But I hope, fingers crossed, it's worked out very well for all parties involved. So I'm not going to say that that's easy to replicate. And I feel as if I was very fortunate, and I feel very fortunate to be in the position I'm in. But it goes back to what Vyyyper was saying at the very beginning, which is, instead of just contacting a brand and saying, this is what I can do something first of value, which is going to catch their attention. So yeah, that was my story. I thought it might be useful. And I think I've done a video about this, ironically, on Brian G. Johnson's channel, if you do want to check it out for more information about how I went from just another passionate creator to this being my full-time career. I'm still blessed. And I can't believe I'm doing this right now with all of you.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
Getting a bit emotional here. A bit emotional.
So we have the Q&A ticker up now.
Yes.
So here's how this is going to work as Rob uses his gloves to wipe away his tears. We're going to call this Q&A Brands and Collabs edition. We're going to try and stay on topic here. Vyyyper has been kind enough to share some time with us today, join us on this live stream. So if you can, tailor your questions to this style of I guess, question today. Questions about working with brands, questions about working with other creators, and yeah, everything around that. So
I saw this one about 10 minutes ago and I didn't want to miss it. So Ross Cass asks, how did you and Roberto Blake start working together, Vyyyper? Maybe you just want to introduce Roberto as you answer this question, Vyyyper, if you can.
All right. So those of y'all who are not familiar, Roberto Blake is a creative entrepreneur. He's one of the YouTube educators on the platform. He has over 500,000 subscribers. He's well known. He's all over the place. If you don't know about him, just do a YouTube search for him and prepare to be blown away. But how did me and Roberto begin to work together? All right, so I need y'all to listen to this very closely because this kind of ties into everything that I've been talking about today. Long before me and Roberto ever worked together, when I first was starting out on YouTube, I was trying to look for content about how to grow your YouTube channel. So when I typed in the YouTube search bar, how to grow your channel, Roberto Blake kept popping up over and over and over again. So I was watching his content. I was in his video comment sessions. I ended up in his live stream. So I kind of became a part of his community. Well, as he noticed that, and as he kind of recognized that I was in his community over and over again, I guess he gradually kind of one day decided to check out my channel. And sorry, got distracted for a second. He checked out my channel, and I guess he liked what I was doing. So one day I think he was in one of my live stream chats, and I think he reached out to me on Twitter. Somehow something worked out to where he ended up coming on my few of my live streams. So because of me being present in his community and him gradually checking me out and appreciating what I was doing, he ended up on a few of my live streams. So between me being in the community and him ended up on live streams, we just gradually kind of cultivated that relationship between me and him. And eventually it led to him asking me to come on his channel, which kind of blew me away because, again, he's a YouTube educator, right? So why is a YouTube educator reaching out to a small tech creator to do content or do a collab with him? But Roberto, as he usually does, had foresight that is much better than mine. And he kind of figured that, yeah, you might be a small tech content creator, but a lot of people that are watching my content are smaller creators trying to figure out how to get to where you are, Vyyyper. So that's why I'm bringing you on here, because you can give them insight to how to get to where you are. Because right now I have about 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Again, he has 500,000. So he wanted me to get my perspective from a small creator point of view. So it just kind of meshed. And then when I went on the live stream and I went on his channel and I had that discussion with him, we just have a natural chemistry that kind of works between me and him, and his audience ended up loving it, which kind of blew my mind. I'm like, I'm not in this niche. I don't make this type of content. Why do they like me so much? But me and Roberto just have a natural chemistry that works. So that's a story, man. That's what it is.
I just want to bring up this tweet. This might bring a tear to your eye, Vyyyper. I saw this. a little while ago. There you are. The biggest small creator I've ever met is Vyyyper, and he makes a big impact even on me.
Hey, I saw that. Yeah, Roberto's a cool dude, man. I love that man. He's amazing.
That's awesome. I found another question here. At what point should I add a business email to my YouTube channel? And if I should it be my normal email or should I make a new one? I'm going to just go out on a limb and say you should 100% make a new one. There's an email you use to log into YouTube. It should not be your business email. It should be completely separate.
Emily D. Baker has talked about this, hasn't she? When she says, just assume any email you use for anything has been compromised 17 times over. So create a new email.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys something that's very important. If you decide to start a YouTube channel, the email that is associated with that channel should not be the email that you associate to your personal stuff, like your bills, your finances, and things like that. No, make a new email, because what you want to do if you're thinking about doing this long term is you're going to have to put an email out there on your channel that's public. You do not want your personal email to be public. You are automatically compromising your security, and you can find yourself getting hacked if your personal email is public. So you definitely want to make a separate email for your YouTube channel and keep your personal email private. Please do that.
I made the mistake when I first made my channel of linking. It was a separate email for the whole channel. It wasn't my personal one, but since it was related to the channel itself, I'm like, yeah, that's my business one too. And any information that I had funneling in about that channel was there, as well as all of those spam emails I was getting, as I was telling you guys about. So even if you don't get hacked, you've just created a mess for yourself. As to when you should do that, it's whenever you feel comfortable. If you want people to start reaching out to you for various things, just make sure you get that new email up. I would say that, unless you guys disagree, there's no wrong time to have a business email up on your YouTube channel.
No, you should probably have one on day one.
You can change it whenever as well. It's not fixed. It's not a fixed email address. So if you change your channel name or whatever, it's easy to change. Brain Trust Digital asks, I reached out on Twitter, so I think he DM'd us, but he's been sent over to this live stream. So thank you, Dan, for doing that. They've just received their first offer for a sponsorship. So first of all, congratulations. That's the next step on your YouTube journey. A small coding tutorial approaching 1,000 subscribers. Zero clue what to charge. Any advice?
Oh boy.
So can I jump in here?
Go right ahead.
Actually, another creator gave some really good advice on this. So I'm quoting Liron here, who you guys may remember used to do this live stream. He gave some excellent advice. What you want to do if you don't know what to charge and research in this field fails you, what you can do is respond to them. The folks made you the offer and say, I'm trying to remember what he said specifically, because this part seemed important.
What's your budget?
Right, exactly. What is your budget for this campaign? What is your budget for this campaign? Yep. Which puts the ball back in their court, and it does make you seem like you've been around the block one or two times, which is also helpful.
Yes. And the part that is, once you ask them what their budget is and they give you a number, then you can tell them what they can get from you for that number if they're not willing to budge from it. Obviously, you want to try to negotiate if you feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, definitely start at what's their budget and then go from there.
I also heard actually Roberta Blake mentioning this, or somebody was asking, like, should I use something like Social Blue Book, I think it's called. And I think Roberto's advice would be, you can use it as a benchmark, but whatever number it gives you, multiply it by at least 3 or 5, because it's a very dumb, it's, no offense to the tool, but it's going to give you a very unintelligent answer, because there's so many variables to that.
Yeah.
I did also want to ask a question here about different types of brand deals, because I think there are brand sponsorships where you can just get a flat fee. Like, let's just say you're paid $500, or you can decide, instead of getting $500, I'll take $100 for the sponsorship, but then I want a cut of like the affiliate links or anything like that. Are there nuances that you have to consider, Vyyyper, when, I guess, negotiating a brand deal?
Yeah. So if you can get affiliate commissions included in the brand deal, I would definitely try for that, because that's always a little extra cherry on top. That's awesome. The other thing that had come to my attention throughout all my time I've been on Clubhouse and talking to other creators and people about this is that, especially for newer creators that don't know what their worth is, try to get data. When you are when you're thinking about working with a brand or you're in negotiations, talk to work with a brand, see if that brand will give you the data from whatever revenue or leads that you produce, because that is data that you can then take and use for a future brand deal. So definitely make sure if you're a creator, if you can get the brand to give you access to the data from the revenue or leads that you generate, do that, because you can use that as leverage moving on later down your creative career. Data is important.
So there you go. Definitely best of luck to you. Congrats on having them reach out.
Definitely.
The last thing I would say is one of the hardest things I think for a lot of people, especially just starting out, is knowing what they're worth, and it's never easy. There's really no handbook for this, right? Like it really depends person by person, niche by niche. So just try your best not to sell yourself short, do as much research as you can. And yeah.
Is there also an argument to say that sometimes, when you're doing your first few brand deals, that it's okay to maybe, because you haven't got a reputation yet, but you've got the brand deal, it's best to take the brand deal so that you have a certain amount of social clout to be able to use for future brand deals. Like, I've already worked with XXXXX, and even though it wasn't, as you've said, Dan, in the past, it wasn't necessarily a money play, but it was a way for me to gain experience working with brands, so that when I got the brand I really wanted to work with, or the brand that, really had some money behind it, then I could negotiate it better. It's almost like, a YouTube channel. Your first YouTube videos might be terrible, but man, you got loads of experience doing them. Not that I'm saying that you want to have terrible brand deals to begin with, but you've got to start somewhere. This is where I've got to be honest. I've never really done any brand deals, so sometimes I can give terrible advice on this.
Yeah. Well, so Rob, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Rob, this goes back to what you were talking about earlier. Especially when you're a new creator starting out, be willing to work for free. Because as Rob just said, you can work for free and get some experience under your belt. And then if a brand is willing to send you product or something like that, that's experience for you. Mm-hmm. Also, the other thing that we haven't really talked about, when you're trying to figure out what your worth is as an up-and-coming creator, don't be afraid to reach out to other creators that are a little bit more established than you. They can give you tips and pointers about your worth. Roberto has told me stories about how he's helped other creators get their work when they're dealing with brands. So it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, having those positive relationships with your fellow creators. So when it comes time to ask questions about things that you don't know about, you can reach out and they'll be willing to help you. So definitely don't be afraid to talk to your fellow creators about brand deals.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple things to add before we go to the next question. The first thing is working for free. While you do that, give yourself metrics of some kind that you can measure. If it's not going to be money changing hands, what is changing hands? And if you can get a good relationship with the person or entity that you're doing things for, maybe they'd be willing to share just how many of the copies of that game you sold. Excellent dude earlier before we got into Q&A asked, did you not get any affiliate scratch from that? And I didn't for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't really know what the heck I was doing at the time, to be honest. And two, that game developer hadn't set anything like that up that I had seen, but if I was willing to discuss with them things going on in the game, because as a fan of it, I was genuinely interested. I was brought into a lot of conversations about how it could improve, as was my community. There's a lot of that very organic, cool community stuff happening. But had I just asked, hey, is there a way to measure, even if nothing's changing hands, how many copies am I going to sell? And if not, at the very least, you could be keeping track of every live stream or every video you do, how many views it got at the time it was uploaded. And at least it's something. At least you can say, when I was doing this thing, you can tell by, I got this many views, it was reaching this audience. Give yourself something, keep track of something, so that when you start to go towards those more professional deals where there's money changing hands, you can have some kind of portfolio.
Yep.
And then there's one more thing, but I forgot. So go on.
I was just going to add reason number 2 why I'm terrible at brand and sponsorship deals. I never made a single dime from affiliates. I just never took the time to set anything live up on my own channel, and then I didn't have to. So that was a relief for me.
All right, so let's look for some more questions here. This is always the best part, the silent part.
I'm just gonna a good point from Darren's general info. I'm just gonna enable slow mode here, but I'm not gonna be too aggressive with it today. Yeah, I'm gonna set it to 30 seconds. This is just so that when we're not getting too many comments, people are restricted to comment every 30 seconds so that we can see the questions more easily. So I'm just going to apply that now. Thanks for reminding me there, Darren.
Let's see here.
I've got one here. I'm not sure how we're going to answer it, but this is a challenge.
I was looking at that one.
It's just like it's from the perfect channel. Like, well, I mean,
I like pizza.
Yeah,
Picture
like
of chocolate cake.
Yeah.
So, question goes: how would I get a sponsorship with 14 subscribers? And I'm gonna be frank with you. You are asking the wrong question, bro. The question that you should be asking is, how can I make my content better to the point where I can get more experience to maybe get a sponsorship down the road? You are much too early in your creative journey to be reaching out for sponsorship, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. You don't have to do anything with it. You can just not listen to me. That's cool. But you don't have enough experience to be looking for a sponsorship, in my opinion. Not with 14 subscribers. No. And if you do reach out to brands, you're gonna find a hard road. But what you can do is put some more videos under your belt, get some more experience, grow your following a little bit more, and then maybe down the road, reevaluate where you're at.
We should stress at this point, though, Vyyyper, that the threshold for creators can vary greatly depending on the genre. I think you're right for maybe 14 subscribers, but let's say a channel has 500 subscribers. Perhaps still as a gaming channel, it might be a little too early for looking at brand deals. But for, let's say, and I always use this as a strange example, a channel that sells bed mattresses, because that's a very high ticket purchase. You know, maybe if you're getting 500 subscribers and you're getting maybe 100 views per video, all you need to do is get maybe 2 or 3 sales from those views on a bed mattress, which may cost thousands of dollars. Then it's perhaps worth it for the brand deal and the creator. But yeah, I think, as you say, probably 14 subscribers. And I was just looking at their channel. They've made 10 videos so far, and they're all YouTube shorts. You are right, and they're not asking the right question just yet.
Yeah, and when we say sponsorship, in my mind, I am thinking specifically of money changing hands, like actual money, not just product and affiliate. I'm talking about money.
Right.
And when you talk about trying to get money from a brand with 14 subscribers, you're not getting money from a brand with 14 subscribers. I'm just being honest. If we're gonna be honest out here, I'll let you know that with 14 subscribers, no brand is paying you. They're not doing that.
Let's talk real quick about the Fortnite Creator Program, because this is, I think, a great place, especially when it comes to gaming channels, where a lot of people start and they may not even realize they've just scored their first brand deal. But the Fortnite Creator Program, and something might have changed, but last I checked, required that you had 1,000 followers on a platform. So that could be if you're a Fortnite creator on Instagram or YouTube or whatever it may be. So if you manage to get 1,000 subscribers, you can apply for this program, and you got to follow all the other rules and criteria. Thank you. Support a creator program. And what they do is they give you a special code. And when people spend money in Fortnite and they use your code, you get a small percentage of that. You get a small cut of that. And when we talked a little bit ago about keeping track of what you're doing when you first start out in this space and doing things for money, this is a great example. You want to keep track of every dime you make so you can build a portfolio and use that when you go on to bigger and better brand deals, because this Fortnite Creator Program could make someone a lot of money, but the people who this is making a lot of money for are way at the top. And you can get there really early in your journey. So you're probably going to find that this is not making you as much as you thought, but that's okay. If it can make you something at the current level you are, it's about making the best content you can. And then that will slowly grow, but your portfolio, the amount of sales you've made, will also grow. And you can now quantify that data when you go to somebody else, say someone who makes gaming chairs or something, like this is a gaming chair, someone who makes gaming chairs or something like that, and say, hey, I'm in the Fortnite Creator Program as an example, and I've made this many sales in this amount of time. And it looks like it is 1,000 followers.
All right. I think I've got a question here from Jonk, but you might be able to answer this better than anyone, Dan. Do sponsor payments vary between channels? Because if they're all paid equal, how do companies like the guys who make Raid Shadow Legends pay thousands of creators for promoting their game?
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, yeah, because I don't direct experience with them. Let's see. If they're all paid equal, how do companies like the people who make Raid Shadow Legends pay thousands? I'm guessing that this for a game like that, because we've seen that game pop up. They probably have a threshold of what they want to see before they work with somebody. You're not going to see somebody with 500 subscribers necessarily promoting Raid Shadow Legends. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it myself.
You're not, no.
I'm watching bigger creators. But yeah, so chances are they're not. So that's their first benchmark. I'm guessing they have a budget every year of how much they're willing to spend on creators at large, right? And they probably have a budget that's just set amount of money. And then it's dispersed between different categories. So they have their micro influencers, the ones kind of smaller in the several thousands of subscribers. And then they probably have a separate budget for people kind of in the middle before they're at 100,000. And then they probably have another budget for people at 100,000 plus. But when you get to that level, then you're starting to negotiate with those folks more because they're very business savvy by that point. So I don't think it's cut and dry. I don't think, did they say they're paying everybody the same amount? Because I just don't think that's how it would work.
No, creators, obviously every creator runs their business like differently. So it will literally be impossible for brands to pay creators the same across the board because it just doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And it also varies by channel size. I mean, a brand is not going to pay a creator with 500 subscribers the same that they'll pay a creator with 5,000, or they're not going to pay a creator with 5,000 the same they'll pay a creator with 500,000. There's levels to this, people. There are definitely levels. So you definitely want to level up if you want to increase your financial potential.
I know I use subscribers as a metric too, but that's just the easiest one to pick on. I still maintain that that's not even what they're looking at these days.
Yeah.
It's always, I always think back to this as like how you build trust and loyalty with your audience. You're probably doing the same thing with brands at the same time. Like it may be that to begin with, for example, using the Fortnite creator code as an example, you're on this flat fee with all other creators. But as your channel grows, and you're able to prove to Epic Games that you're able to convert X number of people into purchases, then you get into a separate negotiated deal directly with, I guess, a legal representative or an affiliates representative at the company, depending on the size of it.
It reminds me a little bit of the Twitch affiliate versus partner programs, because you can get affiliate pretty quick on Twitch. You just need like 3 to 5 concurrent viewers per live stream, and you need to do several hours of live streaming. So you take the platform seriously. They make you an affiliate. And then as you grow your channel and get to a much higher concurrent viewership, eventually you get to partner level. And then the cut changes for how much they give you when you get subscribers, when you get bits and things like that. And then that occurred to me. And then the other thing that occurred to me, do you guys think that if you had you've never done a sponsorship before, but you've had a membership program on your YouTube channel, you get super chats, things like that, I would think that would be a great place to start if you're already making revenue off of that, to say to a brand, people already, invest in me as a creator, think what I could do for your brand.
Yeah, that you make a good point. Definitely.
All right, I'm going to pronounce this channel as Pajama King Tech. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with that. A tip I got is when interviewing for a job and they ask for your price or salary, it's better to tell them that you're flexible based on the fit and ask of their price range. Would this apply for brand deals?
Yeah,
kind of goes back to what you said, Dan, about you asking the brand deal, like, what's your budget for this? Put the ball back in their court a little bit. Sorry, Vyyyper, I interrupted you there.
No, it's good. No, go back to asking them what their budget is and then letting them know what you can do for that particular budget.
It's when we're talking about job interviews, though, it's also good to do your research on what the average salary is in your region for that particular job title. So it's a bit different, I would say, because that information's out there. It's readily available. So yeah, just to point out that difference. But if you're flexible, I would say it's better to keep that to yourself and say, what's your budget? If it's going back and forth for a while, then maybe you say, I can be flexible, but I was thinking in this range, and go from there. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. Hopefully they just have a budget and they tell you.
With all this being said as well, is it best to try and negotiate one-time deals to begin with, like for one video, not necessarily tying yourself into, I mean, this is probably unlikely, but tying yourself into a 10 video brand deal, which very quickly could be out of your favor as your channel grows? Or is that just not a thing that's likely to happen?
No, I would say when you're first starting out, definitely take the one-time deal, because again, that gives you more experience and then it gives you more brand deals under your belt. So when the time comes for a potentially longer brand deal, you know how to negotiate that better. You're more comfortable doing that. So experience is key, pretty much anything, but especially in the creative space. The more experience that you can get doing brand deals, doing video, doing anything in the creative space, the better it is for you in the long run. Experience is key.
Sorry, Dan, I just keep seeing all of these questions.
It's all right. I got one I'm holding, but I'm just going to hold chat here.
Darky, yeah. I have received different offers from YouTubers who have, I guess, 1,000 plus subscribers. However, they've been in some controversies. So can this negatively affect me and my role in my community? We, of course, have made a terrible mistake with this, bringing Savage on board, who has been tarnishing our reputation for years at this point. But he's on a long-term 5-year contract, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I would be very careful personally. Vyyyper, so it looks like you're going to say something.
Yeah. So your YouTube channel is your baby. It is your brand. And think about how big brands handle like controversy and controversial people. When Logan Paul got into the incident that he got into 3 years ago with the forest, how quickly did brands like they disappeared? They went ghost because they didn't want to be associated with that level of negativity. Or when PewDiePie got into the scuffle for saying a certain term on his live stream, poof, they left out of there. So you need to be careful about who you associate with your brand. If these creators do have controversy in their history, maybe avoid them, because you don't want that tied to your brand. Because again, even though it's not you that's being controversial, just being associated with a potentially controversial figure could kind of tarnish your brand's reputation. And ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I guess the hint is in the question, isn't it? They're raising a red flag in the question. Listen to the voice that's telling you this is a red flag, and maybe just really think about it. Unless it really aligns with your own controversial approach and you're willing to take that risk, it's probably best to stay on the right side of not only your community, but then you've also got to think about YouTube's community guidelines as well, and if it's crossing any of those lines.
Yeah, also, go ahead, Dan.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say also, if you are associating with controversial figures, brands are looking at that as well, and if they see you associating with that controversial figure, they might fall back a little bit. So there you go.
It's not just brands, though. I mean, you're building an audience, and the internet is forever. So if you do something with somebody and later, my gut told me I probably shouldn't. Now I totally regret it. Look maybe this is somebody you're looking at who is upping their game in terms of edginess, right? They just want to push the envelope, and you're not really about that, but you're kind of like, well, they are bigger. This could be fun for this one project. You've become somewhat of an advocate for them by doing that thing with them that one time, and that reflects on you, going forward. I know a creator or two actually that have been, I'll say, canceled, for things they did. At that point of learning they were embroiled in controversy, I looked into it and thought, oh, okay, that tracks, and dropped them completely, backed away, because. Yeah, maybe you find out later that they were a problematic person, but then your actions in the moment speak even louder. It's like, what are you going to do now that you found out this person is controversial? And for me, the decision was to cut that person completely because, hey, like I wouldn't condone this whether or not I knew the person involved personally. Buy, because I care about my brand. I care about how that reflects on me, how those decisions reflect on me. So you got to be careful. You can't predict the future, but if you can see today that this person might be problematic, there's your answer.
Yep. You
It's
got to
not
protect your brand.
whatever viewership they could possibly bring you is not worth it.
Protect your brand at all costs.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question here that was way up now in our chat history, but it's pretty good, and I think it opens up a larger discussion too. I'm getting about 300 to 400 subscribers per day with about 40 to 45,000 views every day. I'm trying to figure out how to increase my revenue besides AdSense. What should I do? What is your suggestion?
I will just say media kit. If you've not done a media kit and you don't know what one is, do a Google search on it and make one of them.
Ooh. I mean, you have so many options at your disposal, man. So if you have that many subscribers and you're getting that many subs, you probably have a lot of subscribers, which means you have channel memberships at your disposal. You have live streams at your disposal. You can do your own merchandise and it'll probably sell pretty well, like a t-shirt or something like that. Affiliate marketing is at your disposal. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the creator economy. There are so many ways to make money right now. And if you are bringing in that much traffic, the world is your oyster, man. You just got to do the research and get it done.
Is this an animator?
So yeah, I've just brought the channel to try and get an idea of a channel. So it's Star Wars related, certainly, predominantly. So yeah, it looks like they build Star Wars and other sci-fi ships and models, perhaps in a 3D animation program, and then do tours and like show it to people. It looks really cool. Really cool.
I wonder if they've already tried to tweet out some of their work to, people at the top of that food chain, Star Wars, Disney. Do you guys remember that this was a little while ago now? Somebody made this really cool video that was on TikTok, and I think it was about Marvel stuff. Like they kept doing these cool transitions where they were the different Marvel characters. Like he was Spider-Man and he'd like pull his web and like he closed the screen. And when he did, he was somebody else. And anyway, like that caught the attention of Marvel. Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing you could be doing already.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that the obvious brand deals would be toy manufacturers, Lego being one of them, and what is it? Is it Hasbro who does all of this Star Wars, or is it Disney directly now who do all of the Star Wars stuff? I guess because of the size of the entities, it might be more difficult to contact the right people. But just given the view counts, especially in the last couple of months, where they're hitting 100,000 plus views on some of these. It's pretty spectacular. Yeah.
It was fantastic work. And
for this particular person, I don't know if you've done it or tried it, but I would do some live streams.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
If you're building stuff, you could like do a live stream where you're building stuff and then connecting directly with your community. That would do well, I think.
I mean, because you could even, like you said earlier, Vyyyper, you could be working with brands, just well-known big brands like Nike, for example, and it's about finding a fun way to put that into your content and say, by the way, this video, this animation couldn't be possible without the support of X brand, so big shout out to them. They have this thing. It's fantastic. Here's the website, link down below to save 20%, all that fun stuff.
The struggle and challenge here for the channel, and Dan, we've talked about this with a couple of creators on Tube Talk, as a nice little segue, is that it's not their intellectual property. So it makes it hard to merchandise their own content, if you know what I mean. We're going to have to try and create these relationships with, I guess, Disney, ultimately, because it's both Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, I would check out the Corey Crater episode from weeks back. This is somebody who has several animation channels, and they rely on Among Us and IP that is not theirs, but they have a plan in the future to incorporate more and more of their own IP to try and continue to expand as a business because they can only go so far off of other people's intellectual property.
Oh, and of course, somebody mentioned, don't forget Patreon, of course. That's another revenue stream in terms of memberships.
Did they have memberships? Where we were just on
well,
the
I just always think of Patreon as a form of membership.
It's true. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here in question land.
I'll pick out this one. Koi Fish. Collaboration is awesome. Time zones, however, make things complicated. Any advice to find a balance for both parties and their audiences? Well, I guess the only reason why time zones would be an issue is if you're doing something live. I think if you're making video content, you can just communicate with each other over a period of a couple of days to get what you need. I know it's a very simplistic way of looking at it. I just don't want you to think of location and time as an obstacle to collaborations.
It'll be a sacrifice on someone's end if you need to be with them.
Yeah,
you know, at the same time, someone's going to have to get up early or wake up or go to bed late.
Yeah, like Rob said, unless it's something that has to happen live, then it's just a matter of hooking up and sending to each other what you need and doing your thing.
What about this one, Vyyyper? What about when you don't want to work with brands? You politely say no. I mean, are you running a risk of blackballing yourself within a certain niche if you keep rejecting brand deals, or does it go back to the idea of collaborating with channels who may have somewhat of a risque reputation attached to them?
You know what? I see this differently because as many times as we creators reach out to brands and they ghost us and say no, I have no problem telling a brand no if it comes to that. I mean, just be polite about it. I mean, just let them know that you don't feel like their brand aligns with your content strategy or your audience, and just keep it moving. I mean, they'll deal with it. They'll get over it.
Yeah,
just be polite about it. That's all.
This product or service isn't a good fit. Doesn't align with my audience. It's great. You know your audience better than anybody. So,
yep.
Got one here I thought was cool from Artist Haven. How do you overcome imposter syndrome when you think you might be ready for a collab or a brand deal? For anyone who doesn't know, imposter syndrome is basically when you feel like you're not up to the task, you're not worthy, whatever the case may be. You basically have to. It's a hurdle a lot of us, I think, go through, where we have to kind of admit to ourselves that no, like this is a good fit for me. I do deserve to do this. It's kind of it's really more of a mental question.
So when you start feeling like that, think about all the things that you have to do to get your content out there. You have to plan on how to format the video, like structure it in such a way where it makes sense and it goes into your audience. How much money did you spend into lighting, audio, Tish does art? How much money did you spend on the art supplies? How much time did you take to produce the piece of art that you are presenting at that particular time? So when you think about all the minutiae of the things that go into producing your content, is it really imposter syndrome? Because you did those things. Because that's the whole thing about imposter syndrome. It's kind of like feeling like we don't belong. But when you think about it from your end of it, think about all the things that you do, all the training that you had to undergo, all the hours that you spent to be able to put yourself in a position to produce the content that you do. And then come back to Vyyyper and ask Vyyyper, do I feel like an imposter? Because once you think about everything like that, you might feel just a little bit differently.
I have a question here, Vyyyper. Should I choose the red pill or the blue pill?
You know what? Hey, just be able to live with whatever decision you make. Y'all crazy. Oh man.
Well, you know what's going to happen next, Dan? Your cat's going to appear. It's like, whoa, there's been a glitch in the matrix.
Napping back here. You can't see her.
Bring her on. Bring her on. Right.
I don't need that right now. Trying to work here.
All right. Let's see what else I think just to let you guys know, I got about maybe 5 more minutes or so, then I got to get out of here.
Okay, sure. Thank you, by the way, for hanging out with us and answering all these questions.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We're having you on one more time, I believe. Right? We on the schedule right now?
Yeah, for the July 14th, I think.
Okay, cool. All right. There you go. Everyone has something to look forward to there. Here we go. From Robin Hahn. What milestones/markers does a channel need to hit before you might consider them ready for brand deals?
I don't think it has anything to, let me take that back. I don't think it has much to do with milestones or markers as it does with how you feel inside as an individual creator. Obviously, this is going to be different for every creator, but it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Once you have enough experience, once you feel comfortable in the content that you create, once you feel like you have established a creative flow and you know how to put a video together, you know how to film, edit, put the content out there, promote, all those things. Once you are comfortable in your process and you put enough content out there to where you have a foundation for people to go look at, then I think that's when a creator might want to consider maybe reaching out to brands and things like that. But obviously that's going to be different for every individual creator, but I don't think it can be tied to a milestone per se. I just think it's a feeling that the individual has as it relates to whether or not they're ready for a brand deal.
There you go. Let's see. It's tough to put like an exact number on something like that, right? It's not really possible. All right, catching up here in chat.
Found this. Oh no, sorry, not that one.
Happy birthday.
Genetics FPS. When reaching out to brands, do you just do a cold call, send an email or something? I guess it goes back to media kits. I think for me, it goes back to, as Vyyyper was talking about an hour ago, it's like integrating yourself into the community and trying to offer something of value for free, which is getting a brand's attention, as opposed to just out of the blue saying, hey, I make videos about iPhone cases and you make iPhone cases. I want to make a video about your iPhone case if you send me some money. Feels a little too aggressive, I would have thought. Just given the choices, because brands now don't just need to work with 4 network television options. They have tens of thousands of options available to them.
Yes,
so
they do.
as well as us having so much more choice on what to watch, brand deals also have so much more choice with who they would like to work with.
It's okay to do a little something for free, to not only get you in front of that brand and show them what you're made of, but just to have the experience of what it's like to make a video designed to sell a product, because that too is going to come with practice.
Yep. All right. My last question I need to answer real quick from Real Male Tan here. He says, he's a tech channel. Will the audience feel that a review is biased if it's sponsored or paid? I need you to listen to me very, very carefully. There is no such thing as a sponsored review. If you're doing a sponsored video for a brand, it is not a review. It is a showcase, a commercial, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you do, don't call it a review. That is a good way to commit creator suicide, bro. Just don't create. Yeah, don't do it. Because I mean, think about it. How is it a review if you're being paid to talk about the product? I mean, because the review is critical analysis, pros, cons. If you're getting paid to talk about something, then chances are you're not going to highlight the cons of the whatever it is you're talking about. A review or a paid sponsorship deal is you highlighting the positives and reasons why people should go out and buy that product or service. So no, sponsored content, there's no such thing as a sponsored review of my book. No, no.
I always refer to Mr. Mobile a little bit here when he has a very good way of explaining to his audience how he reviews a product, whereby he's mentioned something along the lines of, just a heads up, I was sent this product by brand X, but they in no way influenced the content I make, and they're seeing this review at the same time you are. I know it's a little bit different to a sponsorship deal, but I think just the way he is very open with his audience is a good example of how a tech channel does it.
Rob, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So somebody in the chat disagreed with me because they feel like a creator could do a negative review. Rob, would vidIQ pay money for a creator to put out a negative review about them?
I don't believe so, no.
I didn't think so. I will leave you guys on that note.
Thank you so much, Vyyyper. We're sticking around to answer more questions, but let's tell everyone real quick where they can find you before you go.
Clubhouse 24/7.
Not Clubhouse, but if I gotta tell people every video, if you want to talk to me directly, hit my Twitter at Vyyyper, just how it's spelled on here.
All right, Vyyyper, thank you so much. We'll have you
No
back.
problem. You all have a good day.
In July.
Thanks, Vyyyper. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, Rob,
then there were two.
And then there were two. Should we open this up to more general questions as well, or do we want to?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Right. Cool. So every Wednesday when it's just Rob and I, we'll talk about. Usually it's YouTube tips and related to channel growth. A lot of times we show different vidIQ tools, and then the Q&A opens up, and we take your questions, hopefully about the topic of the day, but also general YouTube questions. I know that we've done a number of live streams now with guests, and they've had a very specific focus. You've probably been holding on to a number of questions for weeks now. You've been here every week trying to get this question answered, and we've just been talking about something else. So now's your chance.
Yeah, but keep them interesting for us. I will reiterate, if you ask me a question such as, how do I get more views or how do I get more subscribers? Dan, what's my response to this now?
Make videos.
Make more videos. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a simple answer. Because no offense, you're not ready to start to understand the nuances of and the intricacies of what gets you more views and subscribers, be it click-through rate, building an audience, etc., etc., etc. Make more videos, get data, and look at that data on your channel, and then ask, why is my click-through rate not as high as it should be, or how do I get my audience retention to improve in the first 30 seconds? Those are the type of questions that we're looking for.
I gotta say, as you grow a YouTube channel and as things start clicking for you in your content, in your niche more and more, you start to realize why it's so hard to give specific advice to such general questions. You know, why aren't I getting more views? It's when things start to click, you get it. You know, I know it's kind of like being a kid and your parents say you'll understand when you're older. And I try never to give that answer. You'll understand when you have content that's taking off, you know, but sometimes it's like that. So like I'm doing some experimenting and things are working. Some things don't, some things do. And I'm starting to understand more and more that the next video I make, what it's going to do. I'm getting a clearer and clearer picture. As that picture becomes more clear, what I would tell someone to replicate the strategy is more murky. It's harder to do because I realized that what I'm doing is so specific to who I am, you know, and that's the first, I think that's the secret to YouTube. Don't fight who you are, you know. Oh, I want to do this thing because I've seen a lot of people do it and I think it can be popular. Do you like that thing? Is that something you're interested in doing? Because if you're just kind of trying to force it, that's going to be a struggle. That's an uphill battle.
And a final point on this, we've done hours of content on the channel about these questions now. So if you just search for how do I get more views, vidIQ, or how do I get more subscribers, vidIQ, you've got probably hundreds of videos at this point that you can entertain yourself with. Now, what I will say is this question is kind of like one rung up from that question.
Yeah.
But I think it does deserve an answer. But here's the stock answer to such a question. It depends. As with a lot of answers to many questions about YouTube. So this is my general advice. Ideally, minimum, you want to be publishing one video a week. In a perfect world, you could publish a video every single day, but that's not possible for all creators. And maybe that doesn't align with your particular audience because they may not have time to watch your content every single day, especially if it's 45 minutes long, for example. Now, I'm guessing you're a gaming channel, so I think uploading daily seems like a good suggestion. And Travis also mentioned this in that if you are uploading more content, that you're getting more shots at the target, which is certainly true. And from my point of view, you're also gaining a lot of experience in the concept of making YouTube projects, which is planning, filming, editing, making a thumbnail, optimizing, and so on. but it doesn't fit all creators. I mean, for example, if you are uploading daily now and you don't feel as if you're getting any traction, well, just experiment uploading 2 or 3 times a week and see if that has any impact on the velocity of your videos. So there's all sorts of things to maybe consider there. But Dan, you as a gaming channel, I think you always preach the don't upload too much because you don't want to burn yourself out.
It is a matter of burnout. If you burn yourself out, you're no good to anybody, yourself, your fans, everyone. So, but there is value in uploading daily, especially at first, and especially in the age of shorts. I have a friend who uploaded their very first short on a new channel yesterday, and they were asking me this exact question: how often do you think I should put these out? And I said, listen, if you can do daily, if that's something you have the capacity for, these are shorts. They're not, and the ones they're making aren't super difficult. They've said that. That's not my words. Then do daily. But as things start to progress and as you build up that catalog, because this is short form content, and because it's so consumable and you could get through these so quickly, you want a nice backlog of content. So when someone new finds you, they can go through all of those and become more and more and more in love with your channel and what you're doing, and then hopefully subscribe and become a long-time viewer of yours. So if you can start, hard and fast, cool, that's awesome. But I told my friend, if you get a video after doing like a dozen or so of these that just really takes off that you weren't expecting, maybe give yourself a day off, start to space out your content more, because now you're going to be able to go, you're gonna be able to save yourself time. Instead of making a video every day, you're making a video every other day. Or if you've made a whole bunch of videos in advance, now that stretches out for longer. It becomes easier to take a break because you've already done the work, and now it's just a matter of getting the videos out one by one and answering comments when they come in and things like that. So there's a lot of different strategies, a lot of different ways to think about it. The biggest thing is don't burn out, and the second biggest thing is more content is better, but also don't be afraid to take breaks.
And then here's a kind of natural follow-up. Like, somebody is uploading daily and they're not growing. Why? Well, the answer I would give you here is that the data never lies. And because you're uploading daily, you should have lots of pieces of information to inform you as to why that might be. We're not doing channel audits, but just as to explain here, what do I need to press? There we go. So I've just sorted by most popular to look at the videos that have got a lot of views, and is there a certain pattern here? Be it the thumbnails, the cuisine, maybe you're covering too many dishes, or your audience likes a certain type of dish. Also, really importantly, look at the traffic sources. My guess is that you get a lot of views from search as a traffic source. So is it the special Mali Botti recipe? Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. I would be thinking about potentially doing a series of videos on that particular recipe and so on. So that would be my general advice as to why you're not growing. What tends to happen here is if when somebody says something like, why am I not growing? The stock answer, without knowing more about your channel, is that you're probably doing exactly the same thing every single time you upload a video and expecting something different to happen. And that's not necessarily the case. But again, that's just general advice.
Rob, do you want to pull up the tool, the very, very underutilized YouTube tool that allows you to compare different videos alongside themselves or other videos?
Thumbnail preview, are we talking about here?
No, that would be good too. But the one where you can go to your YouTube analytics and you can make different playlists, different lists of your videos. Like these videos, I make pizza, and these videos I make donuts. I'm going to compare the two, see which is doing.
So yeah, you go to analytics, and then there's a secret box behind here. If you click on it, it brings up all of this, and so you can create groups. So as Dan says, you might want to create a group on desserts or vegetarian meals, or like a certain time period or a certain type of thumbnail that you're using. So I think I set up a group here called algorithm videos that I made. I think actually I brought this up in a video, maybe, or a live stream. I compared that to all of the videos that you'd made, Dan. Yeah, look, we've got a group for you. And oh, look at that! You're beating me now. Last time I did this, my 5 algorithm videos were beating your entire data set of videos. But
that's good information. Look how close they are, though. Like that's 5 videos versus like 20. So that's really good information right there. These are all different things, and you can make these groups whatever you want. It's all up to you. You can name them whenever you want. So yeah, thumbnails is always a good one. If you have 2 different thumbnail styles you're testing, make 5 videos with these thumbnails, then 5 videos with the other type, and then you can compare them after a while side by side. But for in your case, food and art, it would be different types of recipes that you're trying.
Click-through rate. Done you there, Dan. So, but why is that? We got a test here. Why would the click-through rate be better for one versus the other?
So here's the last thing I want to say for food and art. You should take a day, if not a couple days, to do just what we did there for your channel. This is the kind of thing, this is the other side of uploading daily that I always talk about. If you upload daily, you may be robbing yourself of time to do that analysis, or to get better at thumbnails, or to research better titles. All of that stuff takes time. And I'm guessing, as a person on Earth, you only have so much time you can allot to YouTube on a given day. So if you're uploading daily, the majority of that time is spent filming, cooking, editing, cooking for the channel. Maybe you're doubling down. You're able to cook something you're going to eat anyway later on, and it's happening to also be content. That's great, but you're still going to need to put that content together, and that takes time.
All right, Dan, I'm going to let you find something a little more meaty this time. There was two general questions to kick us off there.
Yeah, there's pretty meaty answers, though. How many people just learned about groups for the first time? Raise your hand.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm talking about this in my next video, sort of. How can you ensure people subscribe when they view shorts? Is there a different method than what you use in regular videos? So there's some content coming up that I hope you can check out. Anyone wondering this?
This is the first I've heard of it, by the way.
You were there. It was
well, I haven't seen you upload a video yet, Dan. Go on, where is it? Time is money.
It's in pieces on my folders, but it is recorded. We did a podcast with BlockFacts. I believe it's coming out tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right? So I think that one's coming out tomorrow. BlockFacts is a YouTube channel that has done this masterfully, right? They have a shorts channel. In just a few months, broke 1 million subscribers and gained a lot of clout and attention doing this. And part of the reason that worked so well, even in a space as competitive as Minecraft, is that they were hyper focused and specific. It was facts about Minecraft, blocks, mobs, etc. So the content was always the same length, which I don't even BlockFacts admitted is not like a crucial thing, just something he thought might be important. All the content is the same length. It's all the same style, same music, same, order of types of facts. Like, furnaces used to look like this. Dragons used to look like this. That's kind of how he does it, and just goes from there. And this content is so digestible and valuable to the audience. Whether you play Minecraft for the first time today or you've been playing it for 10 years, it's fun to watch, and you learn something every time. So it's the same advice as always. Make content that is unique to you. Make content that's focused. Make content for an audience that's valuable. And BlockFacts is noticing a trend that I noticed myself on my own channel I'm testing on, whereby the shorts themselves took forever to get on the short shelf, but by the time they did, they already had thousands of views because they were hitting browse features before they hit shorts, which means they were reaching returning viewers. So people who had subscribed, people who hadn't subscribed but just watched the content in the past, were seeing it, and I didn't have to wait the 24 hours you sometimes have to wait for a short to hit the shelf. He's noticed this too. And so as a result, he's going to test, or he says he may test long form content on that same channel. Always about the same thing, but I told him, I think after we were done recording, hey, by the way, I saw the same thing. I tested long form content. I was not upset about that at all. I don't even make shorts now because I don't need to. I don't have to. I'm not trying to grow the channel that way anymore. I'm trying to, build up that existing audience, and I no longer have to hope that my video gets on the short shelf.
I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail into this conversation and say either subscribers mean absolutely nothing for shorts channels, or they mean a lot more than subscribing to a regular channel. Let me try and explain my theory and thought process here. This is all just supposition, what's in my head. because now I think YouTube have removed notifications from shorts videos. As far as I'm aware, I might be wrong about this, but I'm sure I've read it. And I'm sure I've seen people see this now, that YouTube doesn't send out notifications for releases of shorts videos. Now, this may be different for different people in different countries as YouTube roll out shorts more. So if you're not being notified about shorts, then you're just engaging with those shorts in some other way. But having said that, what if you subscribe to a shorts channel? Does that mean it's more likely that your video is going to appear, let's say, 3rd or 5th or 7th in that list of shorts as you're scrolling through? Do you know what I mean there, Dan? It's almost like an imprint, a marker on a channel to say, a viewer to say, well, this viewer's entering the shorts player by watching, I don't know, Luke Davidson, because he's doing loads of stuff. But because they've also subscribed to Dental Digest and BlockFacts, will show that viewer those videos next in the playlist, even though they've not necessarily intended to watch a video from that creator. But with shorts, you're not wanting to watch tons of shorts from the same creator. You want to see something new and different every single time. So that's just I still don't understand the discovery engine for shorts. So I'm just throwing an interesting conversation in there. I don't know if there is an answer.
Wouldn't you say that makes it more important for the content that you make to be so recognizable as yours?
Yeah.
And that's what BlockFacts does so well. It's always the same voice, always the same music, always the same style. And it's just like when we talk about thumbnails, right? We talk about, hey, your thumbnail style is all over the place. It looks like you're using Canva templates. Like every day you pick a new one. You want that to be consistent because that's the equivalent on regular YouTube is thumbnails. If your thumbnails keep popping up in people's feed, they start to remember, oh, that's that one guy that does the thing, and that's what you want. And I think that's what BlockFacts does so well. So if you're just testing all kinds of different shorts, they may individually do pretty well. But what I'm seeing is that if you're very super focused and consistent and those shorts pop up in the first 2 seconds, if people know, oh, it's this person again, that's one more video of yours that they're watching and one more opportunity for them to hit subscribe and become a returning viewer.
Apologies for the channel pronunciation. Miwa Cause Kitchen asks, what is other YouTube features in traffic sources? That's a good question. I don't know the answer until we go have a look. So let's go find out together, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's bring up our analytics. So to get to what we're going to look at, we'll go to channel analytics, advanced mode, traffic sources, and then we have 50,000 views over the last month coming from other YouTube features. And it tells us it's stuff that doesn't fall into any other category, such as partner promotions. I don't even know what partner promotions is.
I don't know.
Or the dashboard. I bet the Creator Insider channel gets tons of views from that traffic source because they always put their videos in the dashboard. Anyway, when I click on it, I don't know, so that would be when people download one of our videos on the mobile app using YouTube Premium and then watch it offline. I have no clue what YouTube Remote is. And would that be when we're possibly sharing links with each other to watch videos before they go live, Dan?
That could be.
YouTube.be.
I mean, if I were to share a link in my Discord of a video, I get views from external.
Right, yeah.
And when you break that down, sometimes you see Discord and you're like, oh yeah, I did share it to Discord. But this is even more vague.
What is YouTube Remote? Is that television? Some kind. I'm intrigued here. Let's do a Google search. What is YouTube Remote?
Control YouTube on the desktop or TV. YouTube Remote app for your phone. Huh.
2010. Right. Okay. Cool. Cool. There we go. I'm gonna make a video on this.
Yeah.
I'm not actually, because no one's gonna watch it. Oh, no, okay.
You're only 11 years late. Like, come on.
All right.
How long are you gonna wait?
I hope that somewhat answered your question.
All right. Let's see here. How do you put hashtags on top of the title? I tried putting them into the title, didn't work. I tried putting them into the description, did not work either.
So sorry to interrupt, Dan.
Yeah.
Creator Insider did mention
That's what
that
I was going to say.
they're reworking the placement of hashtags. I think they said they're going to go under the title, but I haven't seen that rolled out to me yet. They're still above the title.
Yeah.
So there is that it's changing soon.
I wouldn't worry about it though. I feel like hashtags may have some kind of comeback, like YouTube's going to do more with them. We've seen pivot pages, but I just wouldn't concern yourself too much. Like, part of the question's in all caps, so it feels like this has been kind of like eating at you a bit. Hashtags are so inconsequential, at least right now, today, that, you know, put them, but don't worry where they show up.
All right, hang on. I'm just checking here. I tell you what it might be. I'm looking at their channel. Okay, let me just bring this up. Yeah, you've only published 2 videos, so I don't think there's any minimum requirements, but I can't see any hashtags in this description. Just a hell of a lot of links. That is weird. But you are a meme channel, so I'll just have to accept that you're doing some weird stuff. But if you set a location in your video, I think that overrides the hashtags. I think
I've seen that, actually. It's kind of interesting. I've seen people post a location. I've always noticed, like, oh, there's no hashtags next to this location. I'm used to seeing the hashtags, not so much locations. So I bet you're right.
So that might be the reason. And the other thing I was going to say is you can only have a maximum of 3 hashtags or above the title. I don't know. I think you can put 15 hashtags in your description, but it will only count 3 of them. So I don't know if the case is if you put more than 3 in, then it ignores all of the hashtags. So that might be something to think about. But I'm not seeing it in any of your descriptions or titles either. So it looks like you haven't added any hashtags.
Yeah, you don't want to put them in the title. You definitely want them in the description. You can put them at the bottom. I'm so glad this came up because I've been thinking about this like just every day since I watched it. Nate from Channel Makers, who we had on our channel at live stream recently highlighted a channel growing. They're called Steve with 3 E's, with like 10 videos a day. I already do a video a day plus a stream. Should I try adding a short video a day? So a few things. One of the things Nate says is like, you know, can you replicate this? If you do this, are you going to grow like Steve? Probably not. You know, this person has obviously figured something out and they've found something that works for them and it's going great. I had a lot of questions myself when I saw this. Rob, have you seen this channel?
Yeah, I have. I can't work it out, if I'm honest. Right.
I think when you look at the content, there is, even though it looks a little bit chaotic with the titles and what they're doing, there are patterns here. You know, it just, if you watch the different videos, it's always like they'll take what I recognize as different Minecraft mods and just do stuff in the game, you know, and they upload a video every few hours. And those videos reach thousands and thousands of views. So, like, it thus proving if you want to upload 10 videos a day, you can do that. It's not like YouTube's going to punish you for some reason. Should you do that's a whole nother question. We don't know who this person is. We don't know what kind of time they have on their hands. Maybe they filmed all these videos last year and they sat on them and now they're like, all right, cool. I have all my videos. Now I'm going to just, maybe these are scheduled months in advance. Like, we just don't know what they're doing. You do not need to upload 10 videos a day to grow is the main takeaway. But if you were this kind of ambitious and you had these types of ideas, you might see some success. I just think it's a crazy upload schedule. I would not use it as the example and the groundwork for your own channel. I don't know if you have anything to add. I
have nothing to add. I just haven't got a clue, to be honest.
Even that channel, though, is very consistent in the style of video they make. You always know you're watching a Steve video when you look at one.
I think the fact that they started their channel, what was it, this year, and their first video got 500,000 views makes me completely puzzled because given how, like, I'm sure there's many other Minecraft creators who've done similar stuff. For the first video to pop, that's where I'm lost on trying to even give you a good answer. This is it's an anomaly and you know, because it's an anomaly, it's at the tip of the YouTube iceberg in terms of discovery. I don't even want to venture an answer.
Nate suggested they could be maybe secretly collaborating with somebody, and you know, we just don't know.
And/or they've already had huge success with other channels, and I
Yep.
suspect it might be something along those lines.
Somewhere in between. I mean, I could tell you I think from now on, if I ever start new channels, I'm going to go in with such a different headspace, you know, than the first channel I ever started.
How can I get YouTube to punch me? Give me a second. I can fix that for you.
Now you've done it. Now you've done it. I have no other commentary except for saying now you've done it, because I don't know what he's going to do.
All right, let's sort this out for you. Oh, no, how do I make
whoa,
mine
whoa, whoa,
appearing?
hey.
There we go. All right, come up to the camera. Come here. Come here. Yeah. Consider yourself punched. Anything else?
Rob's here all week. Or he's been here all week. I think it's the behavior of someone who's just been here all week. All right.
It's funny, isn't it? Like we get people to say, don't ask us questions like how to get more views, how to get more subscribers. But if you want to ask us how to get punched by YouTube,
we'll spend 3 minutes on that.
Yeah, we'll waste some time answering that one.
All right. If you're a personality channel, is that enough channel focus? The focus being the personality. Can your individual video topics be a little broader?
Oh, I find this hard to answer because I guess if I was able to bring a stronger personality to the vidIQ channel, I think it would be a lot bigger than it is. Yeah, even though it is close to 1 million subscribers, because I think those creators who have that, you know, that it factor in terms of a personality and a style can grow almost in any niche that they're in. Because even when you think about Casey Neistat, he is a personality channel, but the way he delivers his style and his editing and kind of like the message and positivity and like the collective tribe that he's built, it goes beyond personality in that sense. But I mean, yeah, if you look at someone like, I guess, say Casey Neistat, what underpins his content beyond his personality, and it's kind of like just doing the things that you would kind of dream and imagine doing in your own life, like skating on a hoverboard. What was it called? Yeah, it's called a hoverboard, isn't it?
I think so.
A hoverboard around New York, and then droning everywhere, and just whatever he wants to do in life, he does, and there's that inspirational element to it.
Yeah, I think your content would always need, especially when you're starting out, but perhaps for all time, it always needs to provide some kind of value. And I mean, you can have a gaming personality channel, right? And what you're still doing is like Jelly is a great example. Super, super vibrant Minecraft personality. And if you were, you know, just a viewer, you may think this person gets paid to play video games all day, play Minecraft, my favorite game. That's so cool. But every video he makes where it seems like he's goofing off with his friends, he's providing a lot of value, because what's the one problem a Minecraft player might suffer? It's that they might get bored of Minecraft. They might need to find something to do, something that inspires them to keep playing the game. And I mean, thanks to YouTubers, I've played way more Minecraft than I think I ever would without YouTube, because you see the different things they're doing and you want to take some of the ideas and inspiration to your own gameplay, maybe even your own content if you're a YouTuber. So I think with personality channels, it's the same thing. What's the value that your channel provides? Your personality is always going to be behind it in one way or another. What's that next thing? Why should someone watch your content? That's the question you always have to answer, you know?
Let's answer a vidIQ question here. No, that's not a vidIQ question. Hang on, where's it gone?
It isn't that where vidIQ, and there's a question in front of us.
Somebody asked about cards and how to copy them. Where has it gone? There it is. So Gaming Max asks, is there any feature from vidIQ which lets you copy info cards? And there is. So what you can do is, at a video level, once you've installed vidIQ, you'll have this vidIQ button that appears as you scroll over stuff. And this will allow you to, say, copy the cards from this video and then apply them to another video. Or if you want to do it at a mass level, then at the very top of the video manager page, you can click here and you can mass edit cards and end screens. What I will say is that with anything, when it comes to mass editing, whatever software you use, test it on like 1 or 2 things before you do a mass edit of your entire channel. But yes, there are options there, and I'm sure we've got some tutorials on it as well on the website. Or if you're unclear after that, it's support@vidIQ.com, and I will happily guide you through how to do that. So yeah, and I think that's a free tool, but we have so many tools I can never quite remember what's free and isn't. But I'm almost certain that copying end screens and cards is a free tool from vidIQ, and I do apologize if I'm wrong.
So I'm seeing a few pretty interesting questions pop up here. My channel does challenges and we give money to the winners, but my Minecraft videos do better than my IRL videos. Should I stick to Minecraft? This is a matter of doing 2 different things on one channel, it sounds like. Even if the content's the same, you're giving money to friends in Minecraft and you feel like that's the same. Given your logo and the style of video you're talking about, I can tell your inspiration's probably Mr. Beast. And if you look at Mr. Beast, he has a gaming channel and he has a main channel. And that's your answer in a nutshell. First and foremost, you want to do what's working. If Minecraft is the thing that's working on your channel, that's what your channel needs to be about. If you want to do some more IRL stuff, make a channel dedicated to more IRL stuff. Separate those 2 things for sure, because that's 2 different audiences. You have fans that are interested in this Minecraft content you're making that don't really have the connection with you, the person. And that's okay, because when you start that other channel, you're going to build an audience that has the connection with you, and they don't even need to know that you play Minecraft on this other channel. Just focus on them, so each has their own space to thrive.
I would just also add, given that the channel has so far 10 videos and you've already got 1,000 subscribers and each video is getting tens of thousands of views, I still think you have a bit of license to experiment, and I would be maybe getting to 25, 50 videos before making that hard pivot to one or the other. But I mean, as you say, Dan, this channel could probably already pivot into separate channels given the audience you have, which is phenomenal. Just congratulations on the success on your channel already. Getting tens of thousands of views is incredible. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, even your more personal videos have thousands of views, that view counts that are like, I'm questioning these view counts. They're so good for the size of your channel and how long you've been uploading, or how many you've uploaded rather, because you've been going for 8 months, but you haven't uploaded a whole lot of content. I would actually spin off the Minecraft channel and keep this as your main one. Since it's already named after you, you can call the next one, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Alexandre Gaming, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or something like that. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed by the work you're doing.
But also, manipulating metrics again. 1 subscriber equals $1 donated to charity. That's a flashback to last week, by the way. I'm not specifically targeting your channel with that. It's just something we're talking about with Mr. Beast on one of his videos.
I recently started a second channel, but all my videos have 1 to 3 views and they're getting 0 impressions. What should I do to pick them up in the algorithm and get at least impressions?
I think without knowing more, unfortunately, the answer would be make more videos to get more data on the content that you're making.
Well, whenever I see questions like this, my concern is always the subject matter in which you're making content about. Because going back to the gaming example, if you're playing a game that nobody's interested in these days because it's just had its time, I mean, your answer might be there's just not a big enough audience for the content you're making. I don't know if you pulled up their.
Well, I think I pulled up their main channel. I don't think. I think this is their main channel, but I can't find their secondary channel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whoops.
Oops. So yeah, and if that's not the case, if you're not covering a topic that had an expiration date necessarily, then you might have, let's say you have 100 videos, you're like, it's still not working. That's a lot of data though to test and see, did something pick up even a little bit? Was there anything in there you could, and if not, then it's time to test something totally new. You always need to be testing new things, even if you're successful, even if you're finding that, wow, I'm at a point now where every video I post gets 10,000 views. That's great. you should always be testing more and more new things to say, this is great, but can I get 20,000 views on my next upload? How could I do that? You know, it just takes, honestly, practice. Honestly, a lot of practice and looking at a lot of different metrics. So I'll start looking for another question here, unless you wanted to keep going on that one. Second channel is about Minecraft. Gotcha. It's super competitive. Super competitive. So you need to bring something totally new to the table now. And again, I talk about this in the BlockFacts video. We talked about it on the podcast. People watch BlockFacts because he's bringing something new, a new perspective to Minecraft. And by the way, BlockFacts is not their first channel. That is absolutely something we learned. They've had a number of channels before that, so they've had a lot of practice. So you can go to that channel and go, gosh, dang it. Like, how do they do it? How do they do it? Well, they had other experiments in the past, you know? So Minecraft is such a competitive space, and you need to bring something really unique or cover it in just a unique way, like BlockFacts is doing.
Sorry, I'm
example of the week.
I'm looking at all of these questions, and I still haven't decided which one to pick next. So if you see one down,
I'm trying to catch up here. I see what you mean.
I think we should just do 10 minutes down of this, both of us with this, and see if anybody realizes whether the stream's ended or not.
As still as we can be?
Yeah, still as we can be. And then just like every 3 minutes, we'll just look at the camera and say, we're still trying to find a question.
How can I target my videos towards that specific audience? It sounds like still in the research phase. You need to learn more about the audience in which you're interested in targeting. You know what I mean? You're not looking for a specific audience. Any specific audience I'll take. It's more about who do you want the videos to target? You know what I mean? Going back to the Minecraft example, Minecraft's very broad. Maybe you want to help people learn redstone, you know? So you want to find people who are struggling to build with redstone. It's what are you good at? What is it that you do? What's your specialty? What's your channel superpower? We've talked about that before. And that, you know, is part of that answer. All right, let's see. Oh,
Good Enough Wargaming. How bad an idea is it to change the thumbnail on one of my best performing videos to try and boost click-through rate? I already did it. So the general common sense advice is to say that if something is performing above average, then why risk changing it? Because there's more of a risk of punishing and making the video worse in terms of its optimization than it is better. In the same way that if a video is underperforming, then you may want to consider changing the thumbnail and title description more for that reason. Now, having said that, if you have already changed it, that doesn't mean that it resets the video in any way, shape, or forms in terms of discovery. So it means that you can change it back if, like, over 24 hours, you feel as if it's not performing as well. So don't feel as if you made a catastrophic error. You know, you can easily switch it back in that sense. But yeah, I mean, there have been many occasions, like the video let's just give you a quick example of this video that I released a week ago, and it's really popped. It's doing really well for the channel. But when I first released it, I thought the thumbnail was quite weak, and I was worried that I didn't think it was gonna work. But now that the video is performing really well, I ain't touching this. I'm leaving the thumbnail where it is, because obviously I was wrong in my assumptions, and it's reacting really well with my audience. So I don't want to change this in any way, shape, or form. But I may have, after a few days, thought about changing it if needs be.
There's another thing too, where maybe you should be focused on your next video. You know, if it's you could
Yeah,
spend the
usually.
time making a new thumbnail, but yeah, usually I would say just learn from what you have there. You know, if you think it's the thumbnail and you're working on another video anyway, take those lessons to heart when you upload your next video. You know, if it sounds like you're dwelling on a video that's like way, like it's been out for a long time now, but what else can you learn from it? You know, instead of trying to get that one more and more views, which I think would be challenging, even if the experiment's a success, I still don't think it's going to like blow everything out of the water more than a new video might.
Dan, you raise an awesome point here. So let's just assume, we could be wrong here, but let's just assume that it is. Come on, Zoom. Oh, stop it. Let's just assume that the video that's performing really well is this one: quick and easy black power armor Raven Guard.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, Dan, instead of tweaking this one, make a follow-up video that's about maybe the next stage of painting this character, this model, or another black power armor style model, because that's literally just what I've done with this video that's really popped. And as you can see, it got 1,000 subscribers in a week. So what I've done, and this is a sneak peek for you all, folks. It's not out yet. This is being released tomorrow. I have made this follow-up video that is how to get 1,000 subscribers with one video in a single week. And I think that's going to really connect well with that video that I made last week. So I'm basically following my own advice here. I'm doubling down on content I think's really works. This is unlisted, by the way, if you want to try and find it, as people often like to do, and post comments before the video goes live. So yeah, Dan, you've really nailed it there. Stop tweaking the video that's really working and make a follow-up content to support that video on YouTube.
Double down.
Yeah, I've got to be careful about saying double down, because you know, for people whose English isn't their first language, they may not understand what it means, which I think is a really good point.
We are over our 2 hours, by the way. I just became aware of that. I'm good if you're good for a couple more, but
sure,
right.
Why not?
So this one is interesting. I think we'll have to try and offer some advice here. Do my first collab coming up, doing a virtual interview. I only have 28 subs, and the creator I'm interviewing has 2 million. Any tips for me?
Oh, so I think the most obvious one, which is something that we have really struggled with our interviews and stuff, is get them to promote this interview on their social platforms. But again, that's quite a big ask, because sometimes large creators don't want to muddy their audience with like just interviews and conversations, which is a fair point.
Yeah.
But trying to get buy-in from the creator themselves to promote the content is probably the best way of doing this, but it's not always ideal.
When it goes live, I think the easiest way to ask without asking would be to tag them when you upload the video. I sat down with so-and-so. We had a great talk. I would say I had an experience once where I had no time to prepare. Somebody offered me on an old podcast I was doing at the time, like a big name to interview, someone who I knew of, but I wasn't like a huge fan of. I just knew of them in the community. I'm like, oh, that would be awesome if you can get them. Thinking, oh, maybe a week or two from now. They're available tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was worried they wouldn't be available again, so took it. But I didn't prepare for the interview, and it did not go as good as I had thought. You know, as I hoped. It could have been a big moment for that podcast if I had prepared more. So do your research is my advice. Make sure that you ask thoughtful questions. I'm not trying to intimidate you here, because this is just a person like you. They put their pants on one leg at a time. But, you know,
what was that? Say that again. What they put their
pants on one leg at a time. I mean, I have 2
butlers
who do it for me.
I jump in. I have this device that stretches out my pants, and then I jump from like a height to try and, you know, like that's how I put my pants on.
I have 2 very well-paid butlers, but I mean, most people put their pants on one leg at a time. So just try to remember that. Don't be intimidated by it, but you know, take what it is they do and just make sure you are well researched and thoughtful when you're asking your questions.
Does anyone want to see YouTube shorts of me jumping into a pair of shorts while a butler puts on Dan's pants? Let us know in the comments.
It has to be two. It's two butlers. Don't
two
exclude.
butlers. I'm sorry, two butlers and a cat watching in the corner and like just staring in a weird meme way.
Oh.
And on that note,
is that it for Q&A?
I can take another one if you want.
Let's do one more. Let's see. Seeing a lot of questions here. We're kind of already answered. Be sure to go back and watch.
This is a good question, but I don't have an answer to it.
Okay.
Is there any way to know how many people have clicked the reminder button for a stream? I think that's a really good question.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, there's nothing to tell you that. So, with that being said, this is one of the things that you could badger Team YouTube about on Twitter and ask them if there is
politely
in a way to do it. And what they'll say is, "Thank you for your question. Please use the feedback button on YouTube." And it's like, I've just told you. Why do I need to go somewhere else to tell you the same thing? You can tell I've had problems with this in the past.
Let's see. Okay. Kind of a more generic YouTube question here, but what's the best way to know what YouTube's working on, or do they keep a tight lid? I really want to know what's in the works for live streams to ponder Twitch versus YouTube. I could tell you exactly what they're working on because one of the channels you could follow is vidIQ. We're always in the know, but one of the reasons we're in the know is also because of the Creator Insider channel, which I think YouTube would tell you is rather underrated. But they do come straight out and show you things they're working on. One thing for specifically streaming, clips are coming soon, and you can play with them now on that channel. They've put the clips on the Creator Insider channel, so you can see kind of what that looks like. But basically, it'll take one video, and you can put timestamps, like moments from the video. The audience can now basically select timestamps, and they'll go on a separate page, like all the different moments from the stream.
Yeah, so this is the channel. And yeah, I'll admit sometimes I've remade some of Creator Insider's videos into vidIQ videos. The two about discovery, like this lady here who's been doing some interesting stuff about how discovery works. I've basically remade the videos on vidIQ, and I've actually specced out this one about the 10 most common discovery questions asked, like, does changing your thumbnail reset this as discovery? Does monetization impact discovery? And so a lot of questions were answered there. So I'm thinking of doing a video based on that. There is also something else as well. Let me see if I can find it. I did bookmark this once, but I've never ever gone back to it. It's one about what YouTube is testing. Let's see if I can find the link for it, but I don't think it's here. YouTube do have a support page. Here we are. I found it. It is YouTube test features and experiments. So occasionally they will update you on what they're working on here.
A new appeals for YouTube partnership program suspensions and rejections.
Yeah.
Interesting. Testing timed comments. What the heck is that? So
this is where I think I'm still trying to work out what it's actually going to look like. Oh, this is for oh no, hang on. Oh, that's an unlisted video. Well, that's not helped me. What's that? Let's just have a look. Don't know what that link was.
Weird.
Oh, that was something about. Hang on, I clicked on completely the wrong thing. Sorry, Dan.
It's the second bullet point. Testing.
Yeah. So I assume that this would be it showing you the comments as somebody's posting it on the timeline. Like let's say somebody writes a comment 26 seconds into the video.
Yeah.
Then it will appear almost like, I guess, in Premieres, it's like live chat. But I'm not sure it is that, because I may be getting an understanding of this wrong. When I've seen examples of it, it looks like it's only showing comments where people have put a timestamp in the comments. So like,
it could be that too.
4 minutes 13. This was really interesting. but they wrote 4 minutes 13. I could be misinterpreting it completely though, and I think for channels that have hundreds of comments per video, I feel as if it would become white noise very quickly. What I would prefer is just a analytic that shows you like a heat map, like you're getting a lot of questions 1 minute into the video, or you're getting a lot of questions towards the end. And I feel like the volume would be far more useful than just individual comments, because it takes you so long to go through them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good example of like something they're testing in this page. But it doesn't show you everything, because I've seen on Mr. Beast's live streams that he had a voting poll feature, which I would really love here on the vidIQ live streams, but I've never seen any mention of it anywhere. And I don't know if it's ever going to become an actual thing.
Yeah, they're always testing something, and yeah, they're not completely closed up about that. So if you're trying to decide what what sort of things you would like to do in terms of Twitch versus YouTube, I'll just tell you from my own research, YouTube's putting a lot into streaming, on their service, and I would not discount that if you're thinking about both. Just kind of look into it, because at first, yeah, most people would tell you just use Twitch, but now YouTube, I would say, is a solid competitor. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up, Rob.
Yeah, I need to walk my dog before a meeting I have.
Cool.
Soonish.
All right, everybody.
So I'm going to jump into my pants because I'm not wearing any. No, I am actually. You saw me wearing them when I went to go get the punching glove, I assume.
All right. All right, everybody. We want to say goodbye to some folks?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's say goodbye to Cody Hindsight, Spicy Quinn, I think the name is there, Food and Art, Chrono Network, Miss Hatter, and also thank you to our moderators, whoever's here. I know the Artist Heaven has been in here at some point, and Pinky Tech is also here, so thank you to our moderators as well.
I just saw more than one person ask about becoming a full-time YouTuber, and I would recommend watching the beginning of the stream if you missed it, because that is brand deals. These collaborations are part of the road to becoming a full-time YouTuber. Knowing how to talk to brands, knowing how to sell yourself to brands, all of that plays into becoming a full-time YouTuber. So keep that in mind. Let's say goodbye to I Like Pizza, It's Nick YouTube, Cody Hindsight, Minecraft Block Channel, Wild Nature Southwest, Anna Zilly, and Gamer Ace. Thank you, everybody. We will be back on Tuesday with channel audits and Wednesday with another Q&A live stream.
All right, Dan, I want you to try and time this, right? I'm gonna punch the camera, and at that point, I want you to end the broadcast. Okay. So
hold on, let me get ready.
All right. Okay. So you're ready. So I'm gonna give you a countdown so you can do it properly. All right. So it's like end the broadcast.
Not a catchphrase, a countdown.
Enjoy the rest of your video making day. Yeah.